Good day. This 318th day. Meaningful moments, 365 days. All day long, we have these transitions where we're coming and going. And usually we don't think much of it. We don't even give it a second thought as we cross paths, then perhaps we depart. Those times when we say goodbye in the morning, when our loved one leaves home to go to their job, to their employment, or maybe it's to run an errand, maybe it's our child going off to school. But whatever those transitions are, we usually just take it for granted. And then we get that call suddenly when we hear that someone is in the hospital, or someone has been in an accident, or someone has had some situation where we now know the finite side of life. And perhaps this time the going isn't just going to some seemingly meaningless activity in the big picture, because now it's a matter of life, like life and then the passing, the death. And I've spoken on these meaningful moments before about death and how we work with that and integrate that into a transition. And I suppose many of us don't really think about what it is that someone won't be with us. And sometimes they're even like somewhat removed. Maybe it's somebody that we work with, or someone that we knew that we would see on our route, on an errand or to work or something like that. I think about the building I used to live in, and the people that worked in the building that we saw day in and day out, and then suddenly somebody wasn't there. And of course all of us have been through this with COVID, and much before COVID. There's so many diseases in the world, but I think about when I was a child and first hearing about cancer for the first, it wasn't really as common as it is today for so many people to have it. But when I first remember hearing about it, it was like, oh my gosh, someone has cancer. I remember hearing somewhere, I don't know if it was like the news, because I was really young at the time, but hearing like, one day you'll know someone who has it. Everyone will. And thinking like, wow, that's really something. And sure enough, here I have lived to see that time now. But whatever the situation is, this meaningful moment is about that coming and going. How present are we to really embrace consciously, with the fullness of life, appreciation, thankfulness to have in this moment. And then as we work with those inevitable calls that come, or we prepare for someone's leaving, when we do know, and it's not just like a sudden call, but when we actually do know that something is imminent, how we prepare for that, how we prepare for the coming and the going. Just like receiving a child into the world, a newborn baby, and that new life, and then the releasing of a beautiful life, regardless of all the appearances, but just the releasing of that soul, the life journey that they came through and on, and then passing over to the other side. So taking it on different levels today, because it always is integrating and working through us on multiple levels all the way through us, and the coming and the going, really allowing us to be connected with life, to understand the fullness of life with each and every breath. For all your comings and goings, my friend, aho.